Soon hit triple digits as number 12 Utah comes to Waco to meet Baylor. Baylor looking for a bounce back off a bad loss last week. RG3, my partner, down in the middle of it all.
The Baylor Bears are coming off one of the worst defeats in school history, and the devil is turning up the heat here in Waco, Texas. But in life, it's not about what happens to you, it's about how you respond. And Baylor's trying to flip a switch and get a win with a new starting quarterback in Sawyer Robinson and a defense trying to get that bad taste out of their mouths. But you know who wants to see them get that win more than anybody? It's the Baylor line right here behind me. These yellow jersey wearing crazies are all freshmen. They're going to race the length of the field, greet the team, and try to get the best seat in the stands. And guess what, guys? I can't wait to get in the thick of one of the greatest college football traditions in the world. I'm getting in the thick of it like Cal Lowry. Let's go!
All right. Wifey got me that time. Wifey beat me that time.
So that's Robert Griffin III. He is now in treatment downstairs, getting his hamstrings worked on. We'll see how long it takes him to get up here. I'm Bob Wischusen. Thanks so much for joining us today. Should be a good one. Chris Button is with us as well down on the field. And Chris, while RG3 gets treatment, there was a lot of concern this week about who was going to be a quarterback for Utah as well.
Yeah, well, the news today is that Cam Rising is out for today's game. The senior quarterback missing his second consecutive game as he is still dealing with the aftermath of the ACL surgery from the offseason. But the good news is that he practiced at 100% for the first time since suffering that injury this past week at practice. Bryson Barnes will get his second consecutive start. Could possibly see some packages with Nate Johnson as well, like they did against the Gators last week, Bob.
Both teams will be starting backup quarterbacks today, and we will get to that. As Chris said, we might see both quarterbacks for the Utah Utes, and RG3 has made it up to the booth in record time. You don't even look like, I don't see ice packs anywhere. You look fine.
Yeah, Bob, there are no ice packs, no injuries. We just going out there having a good time, and now I know how the freshmen keep the freshman 15 off.
The first time that these two teams have ever met, but obviously more matchups are on the way, as this will be a conference matchup beginning in 2024. Baylor won the toss and deferred, so Utah will get the football to begin. And Dave Aranda, he has challenged his team to step it up physically this week after their performance, as you said, last week against Texas State.
Yes, he has. He talks about that competitive maturity. How does it show up today? They got to fight, and they got a fight in their hands with these Utes.
And it will be a touchback to begin. So the football will come out to the 25-yard line for Bryson Barnes at quarterback. Now, when they have called on Bryson Barnes in the past, they've been just fine. And Nate Johnson, he contributed last week as well. The dual quarterback system was in play for the win against Florida. Barnes began with a 70-yard touchdown. Nate Johnson, a different look. Chipped in 45 yards rushing and a rushing touchdown as well. It will be Barnes to start. Efficient last week, and that was really all they needed, as much as they at times owned the line of scrimmage.
Yes, he was efficient in that first play of the game last week. Touchdown pass, 70 yards. I know they want to replicate that here, but all he has to do is manage the game better for 4 quarters, not just a couple spots throughout.
Flags on the opening play. A delay of game penalty, it looks like, was called. This Utah let the play clock expire on the first offensive snap.
So you took at the first play last week, they changed the strength of the formation, making the defense have to communicate. And then this motion inside the numbers makes the receiver that ends up catching the touchdown have outside leverage on the corner. You're going to watch the middle safety cut the crosser, and that's why the middle of the field was wide open for Money Parks for a touchdown last week. Beautiful design by Andy Ludwig, their offensive coordinator.
Well, this is Utah football as well. They will play bully ball as Jaquindon Jackson gets a push, not only gets the penalty yardage back, but gets about 6 more as well. So 2nd down and 4. And this is an offensive line and even just an overall mentality that wants to impose their will on an opponent. That really is their identity.
That is their identity, and I look at this game as who's going to be the bigger bully. Yes, Baylor's coming off a loss to Texas State, but both of these teams like to play the game the same way. Multiple tight ends, run you over, play smash mouth football.
Jackson again. This time he's bottled up. Well, if Dave Aranda wanted to see some physicality, Gabe Hall shows him an early sign as he was the first through to bring down Jaquindon Jackson and force 3rd down and 5.
You know, defensive coordinator Matt Powledge and Dave Aranda told us our defensive line, our front seven, has to be the strength of our team. We thought it was going to be going into the year, and they honestly did not show up last week. They have to play behind the line of scrimmage, and that's exactly what Gabe Hall did right there.
Micah Pittman in motion. Barnes to throw for the first time. Instead, he'll tuck it under and run. Lowers his shoulder and picks up the first down.
Bryson Barnes. This is what I love. When you're a quarterback in the pocket and it doesn't show up for you, go! And then look at him put his shoulder down. Now, I know there might be some people out there that say quarterbacks shouldn't do that. But let me tell you, these Utah quarterbacks, they're a different breed, Bob. They're a different breed. All these guys are putting their shoulder down. They get that from the main man, Cam Rising. Unfortunately, he can't play today, but nice run there by Bryson Barnes.
Well, Bryson Barnes might surprise you with running the football. You're expecting that from Nate Johnson, and there he goes. Drags a tackler out to the 44, maybe the 45-yard line for a handful. Chateau Reed brought him down. And Nate Johnson, and this is a player that has only appeared in 5 total games for Utah, and yet he's got 4 touchdowns. Yeah. So he finds his way to the end zone, and he is now back to the sideline, and Bryson Barnes comes right back in for 2nd down and 5.
Yeah, I want to show love to all the track heads out there, track and field community. Running a 10.36 in the 100-meter in high school is no easy feat, and that's why they call Nate Johnson Mr. Sweet Feet in that backfield.
Jackson for a couple. Mike Smith Jr. helped on the stop for Baylor. And once again, the Bears have forced a 3rd down. Chateau Reed was there as well.
You seem to be saying that name, Chateau Reed, a bunch, you know? We getting French up in this thing? Oui.
3rd down and 4.
Both of these teams like to go for it on 4th down, so wouldn't be surprised in 3rd and short. They run the football being near midfield to try to run the ball again on 4th down.
The rush gets through. Avoiding a sack somehow is Barnes. Now he goes down. Gabe Hall and T.J. Franklin collapse the pocket. A loss of 1. And they're not going forward on 4th and 6 from their side of the 50. Here comes the punt group.
Not at all, and that's what you say in those situations when you know, hey, we might go for it on 4th. Run the ball, get yourself into a manageable 4th down. They tried to throw it there, and T.J. Franklin showed up in a hurry in the backfield. That's what the Baylor Bears are looking for from their front 7.
Jack Bomeister will try and angle an end-over-end kick. Cameron lets it bounce into the end zone. So that will come out to the 20-yard line for Baylor. And again, Baylor without their starting quarterback. Blake Chafin unable to go after the knee injury last week. So they will turn to Sawyer Robertson. And he certainly has pedigree. Top 15 all-time in Texas high school football history. And some of the most important statistics. He was at Mississippi State, played 5 games as a redshirt. His cousin Jarrett Stidham, of course, played here at Baylor as well back in 2015. And he will now make his first career start at home off of the disappointment of last week against a ranked opponent. And he'll throw on 1st down. And the slant on time. Jonah Burton very close to a 1st down. It looks like he's got it. Progress past the 30-yard line for a gain of 11.
Now that's how you get your quarterback in rhythm early and often. Last week he came in, played a little bit of spot duty, had an interception that you could arguably say wasn't his fault at the quarterback position, bouncing off the receiver's hands. But this guy is a big athlete who can throw the ball very far and also can get jiggy with it in the open field. You want to see that today from him for the Baylor Bears.
Met in the backfield is Dominic Richardson. He's got nowhere to go. That's a loss of at least 3. Cole Bishop, the free safety, came up and run support. Sold out to stop the run. And now it's 2nd and long.
Yeah, and anytime you got that safety coming off the edge, that Utah defense is trying to let Baylor know we are going to make you one-dimensional today. Cole Bishop, one of the voices of that defense, with a big play early on.
Robertson, swing pass, caught by Richardson, down he goes. Immediately brought down by Sione Baki. That was a gain of maybe a yard, so now it's 3rd down and 12.
Yeah, Sione Baki was all over that, and this Utah defense is being smothering just like it was against the Florida Gators in their first game.
Quick snap. They'll lob one down the sideline, incomplete. Etron Jackson couldn't run under it as Baylor went up-tempo to try and trap Utah with players on the field, but Utah able to substitute quickly to avoid 12 men, and it will be a Bears punt.
Exactly. You run that hurry up because you're trying to catch the defense off guard, and they did. They had a free runner down the field. They just could not connect. In those situations as a quarterback, you'd rather be a little bit short with the throw than to overthrow your guy. Give him an opportunity to make a play.
The freshman punter Palmer Williams now called upon. Micah Pittman is back deep to receive for the Utes. And a good-looking spiraling kick. Pittman returnable from the 20. Gets to the sideline. They set up a wall. He gets to midfield before he steps out of bounds. Well blocked up by Utah on special teams. And they'll have terrific field position when we come back to Waco. Cannot be comfortable in that unit of Cubs named Judge Indy and Judge Bell. Rescue Cubs bravely joined by RG3 in their habitat on campus yesterday.
Just another moment to savor with the family there. 3 of our daughters, Gloria, Gamay, and Gia, having a blast. Cubs are awesome, man.
Awesome field position for Utah. Play action for Barnes. Sidearms one intended for Parks, knocked away. Bryson Jackson, the 7th-year senior, got a hand in. Down to Chris.
Bryson Barnes. Scholar. Now, Kyle Whittingham was asked about.
It looks like we're having some technical issues with Chris's microphone, so we'll get back down to her as soon as possible. Nate Johnson, though, back in the game in the pistol formation on 2nd down and 10. On the keeper, the cutback, and he goes down at the line of scrimmage. They may have lost the football. Knocked out. Baylor believes they have it. It looks like he may have gotten it back, though. Gabe Hall with another hit jarred the ball free, but Utah maintains possession and gains a yard.
Yeah, you're going to watch Nate Johnson try to go outside, get back in, makes those guys miss, but it's always the guys you don't see coming right there. Gabe Hall poking the ball out. Very nice job rallying to the football, not giving up on the play. I know if you're Utah, you're very, very happy that you got that ball back.
3rd down and 9. Utah trying to do something with the terrific field position. Barnes to throw, well protected, fires one to the sideline. Tight window, incomplete. DJ Coleman back in coverage as he was stalking Devon Baylor. A punt return to the 46-yard line and a 3-and-out. That's a great job by the Baylor defense.
Yeah, Micah Pittman really set them up well. But that Baylor defense, who didn't play relentless last week against Texas State, has showed up so far in these first 2 possessions against the Utah Utes. If you're a Baylor fan, you love to see it. If you're Utah, you got to start getting in rhythm.
Bomeister, end-over-end kick. And a fair catch inside the 10-yard line by Josh Cameron. Our first opportunity to say hi to Matt Barrett.
Gentlemen, good afternoon. I've got good news, bad news for Ohio State, Youngstown State. Good news, Kyle McCord makes Marvin Harrison Jr. happy on the first drive. 71-yard touchdown. Only 2 catches, 18 yards a week ago. He gets off and running. That's the good news. The bad news, Youngstown State, Mitch Davidson, he punches it in. Right now, they are tied at 7 in Columbus. Back to the unofficial voice of Hard Knocks.
Matt, thanks very much, and thanks for noticing. Appreciate it.
Gotta love it when they give you a shout out, right, Bob?
At the 8-yard line, Baylor goes to work. It's been a field position NFL kind of game so far as Dominic Richardson dives ahead for 2.5.
You know, Baylor made a lot of changes to their offensive line, moving their left tackle to right tackle, kind of giving some more competition on the interior. Because although coming into the year they thought this would be one of their better offensive lines they've had under Dave Aranda, they really struggled playing together for the first time in week 1. So both of these teams on the offensive line feel like they did not get the production that they were expecting. So we got to see how they're going to respond versus 2 formidable defensive fronts.
Play clock down to 5. False start is called.
Oh, no.
This was a problem last week,
Yes.
and it looks like it is going to continue to be a problem to start today.
False start. Number 79 offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
So getting the start today at left tackle Albin Abosale, and he was guilty for the false start after 6 by Baylor last week.
Yeah, 6 total last week, but they had 4 in the first quarter. When you have a bunch of new guys that are playing together for the first time, you cannot continue to shoot yourself in the foot and put yourself behind the chains.
From the end zone, there's a slant, incomplete. Intended again for Keytron Jackson. So now it is 3rd down and 12 from the 6-yard line. And another opportunity for Utah to end up with great field position if they can get a stop here.
It really is. And if you're Sawyer Robertson right there, you want to make sure you put that ball, you want to middle up Keytron Jackson right there because the safety's coming downhill. Having him extend himself out, you're going to see a lot of receivers, quote-unquote, alligator arm that.
When you say middle him up, what does that mean?
That means throw the ball to the middle of his body or his back shoulder so he can protect himself against the hit coming from the safety.
It looked like he knew that hit was coming. Here's 3rd down and 12. And they will go conservative and run it with Richardson. And the conservative option works. He finds a lane and gets just enough, it appears, for the first down. That's probably a play call, almost forfeiting the possession. Let's make sure we take care of the ball and set up a punt. And instead he finds a crease.
Exactly. And the reason he found that crease is because Utah seemed to be caught off guard. 3rd and 12? Why are they running the football? We did talk to Jeff Grimes this week, and he said there will be times when we run the ball on 3rd and long because we're going to go for it on 4th. But when you're that deep in your own territory, that's not the thought process. So the Bears were able to just steal, quote-unquote, a possession by getting that first down on 3rd and long with a run.
A little option toss. Richard Reese stuffed at the 15-yard line for a loss of a couple. Again, Cole Bishop came up to make first contact. A loss of 2.5.
Yes, you're going to see Cole Bishop right here on the edge. Doesn't allow the tight end to really make him lose contain. You're going to hear Cole Bishop's name a lot in this game. He makes a lot of plays for this defense, and he really is the one that gets them rolling.
Quarterback keeper. A little stutter step for Sawyer Robertson to the sideline. Hammered out of bounds at the 25-yard line, but picked up 9. And RG3, let's check the impact players today. Who are you looking for?
Yeah, like that run right there by Sawyer Robinson because it's going to make the safeties come down and give his man Monterey Baldwin an opportunity to use that blazing speed that he has to get down the field. And then Junior Tafuna, defensive tackle for Utah, did not play last week against Florida, but this man is a disruptor in the middle of the field, and I know the Utah Utes defense is happy to have him back.
Yeah, he is on the watch list to start the year for the Lombardi, Nagurski, and Outlet Awards and a preseason first-team All-Pac-12 tackle. But he's not there to stop Dominic Richardson, who picks up another Baylor first down on the ground.
I tell you what, as bad as offensive line played last week for the Baylor Bears, they are creating creases in this Utah front and allowing their running back, Dominic Richardson, the transfer from Oklahoma State, to get past the line of scrimmage before he gets contacted. And I know that was a huge point of emphasis for offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes going into the week. We've got to get our backs past the line of scrimmage so they can show what they can do.
Richard Reese He's got 5 more on first down. Let's go back to Matt. Looks like we'll keep it right here and check in with Matt as soon as possible. Anyone that watched Baylor play last week, the last thing they would have expected to see is them running the football effectively against Utah, against this defense. It's got to be a terrific early sign for Dave Aranda.
For the Baylor Bears, it is. But if you're Utah, you're like, on this drive right now, they've given up 65 rushing yards. Or should I say 1 pass, 6 rushes, should I say? You got to stop this Baylor offense from getting in a rhythm.
Robertson, inaccurate. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 5. He threw it behind Monterey Baldwin. He found a little soft spot in the middle of the field. So another chance on 3rd down now for Utah to get off the field.
Right, Bob. So what I was trying to say was they ran the ball 6 times, and that was their 2nd pass of this drive. But when we talked to defensive coordinator Morgan Scaley from Utah, he said with the young quarterback, we're really just trying to throw everything at him early on. So they don't want Sawyer Robinson to get in rhythm or this offense to feel like they can pound the rock on them. They got to shut that down ASAP.
Jet sweep action. Jonah Burton lassoed down at the 37-yard line. And again, who's there to make the stop but Cole Bishop? And that will bring up 4th down and force a Baylor punt.
We say you're going to call his name a bunch. Remember the name, because this man's got game. It just seems like wherever the ball is, that's where Cole Bishop shows up. He's playing deep. He's playing on the line of scrimmage, getting to the quarterback. He's making sure he maintains contain and rallying to the football. I bet everybody in the nation wish they had a Cole Bishop on their team.
Williams with a line drive punt. Pittman for the 20-yard line. He goes no further. Down immediately. And boy, was he absolutely walloped. Caleb Parker was there to make the stop. 44-yard punt. No return. And still down after that hit is Pittman.
Oh, my gosh, Bob. That man just got baptized. What a hit. Okay.
Micah Pittman was very slow to get up after taking that hit, but has been walked off the field by the trainers for Utah. So we will see on the sideline if Pittman is able to return. But now they are going to review the last play for potential targeting, which I don't see. He has received the punt, has become a runner, and I don't know how you would say that that is a defenseless player. To me, that's just a good hard football hit.
Yeah, he's clearly got possession. You're asking yourself, is it a hit to the head? And did he lead with the crown of his helmet?
Which he did not.
Which he did not. But he did hit him in the head with it looks like his face mask. And both those guys are actually shaken up after the hit. But watch it more closely here.
Because that's not crown of the helmet, you would have to say that's forcible contact to the head or neck area of a defenseless player.
Correct.
For that to be targeting. Once he receives the ball and starts to make a football move, he becomes a runner. I don't know how you would say he's defenseless.
Correct.
But you know what? You want to change the strike zone. You don't want players to go head-to-head if you can avoid it. And so I understand why the replay booth at least wants to say, let's take a look at this and talk it through to make sure that it's not targeted.
And really, Bob, the redefining of what it means to lead with the head is what's going to be on display here. Using that front of the face mask, unless it's a defenseless receiver, has now been removed. The crown is actually that bubble at the top because they're trying to prevent players from actually putting their head down and hitting guys in any type of way.
Micah Pittman, it looks like might be headed back to the locker room. We'll see.
After review, there is no targeting on the play. First down, Utah.
So that's the correct call. But you still worry about Pittman and whether or not he's going to be able to return to the game.
100%, Bob. You were all over it with the call there. And, of course, for Micah Pittman, I've actually had the honor of calling his games at, the last 3 schools that he's been at. And we want to make sure that he's okay. We don't want to see any guys getting injured. And that's why the targeting rule has been put in place.
Pittman began his career at Oregon, spent a year at Florida State, and now his senior season at Utah. Well, Jaquindon Jackson, the lone setback. Back to work the Utes from their own 20-yard line. They'll keep it on the ground. And another big hit. After about a 3-yard gain for Jackson. Caden Jenkins, the freshman corner, came up and met Jaquindon Jackson.
And you know, a lot of times it's the offense is trying to get these small guys to tackle, the safeties in the corners. But both of these teams know we have to make the other team one-dimensional because they have backup quarterbacks at the starting quarterback position. They want to see, hey, how much do you trust your guy to actually drop back and throw the football when we're going to have 8 and 9 guys in the box?
It looks like both quarterbacks are on the field right now for Utah. So have your antennas up as Nate Johnson is out there as well. This time just a straight little button hook. Miki Sugataraga, the tight end, picks up a first down. And let's try Chris Budden again, see if that microphone has straightened things out. And Bryson Barnes, he's a happy guy these days, Chris.
Yeah, he's now on scholarship, and it's crazy how it happened on Monday, how he found out, because Kyle Whittingham was asked about it at the press conference. He said, yeah, he's on scholarship. Well, Barnes had no idea. So after practice on Monday, he asked their director of ops, am I on scholarship? Said, yeah, you are. So that's, you know, some days there's a lot of hoopla about it. There wasn't this. The good news is, no longer has to work at Lowe's. It's what he was doing the last couple years to help pay for tuition, guys.
It was on his LinkedIn. As Nate Johnson's back in the game, the zone read to Jaquindon Jackson for about 3 yards. Yeah, different when you have to have a LinkedIn page while you're a quarterback just to let folks know what you're up to professionally. Pig farming, of course, who wouldn't have that on their LinkedIn? He's been a guy that's done some plumbing, installed some panels in a solar field, also worked at Lowe's, all as a walk-on quarterback. And then, of course, the game of telephone, as Chris said, the coach just casually mentions in a press conference, you're not a walk-on anymore.
Exactly. Bryson Barnes has been doing all the work off the field, and now he gets to focus all of his energy to continue to work on it.
Quarterback to quarterback here. As Barnes hands it to Nate Johnson, and Johnson goes nowhere. It's a loss of 1. And it looks like Baylor on the verge, potentially, of another stop. 3rd down and 8.
This is exactly what defensive coordinator Matt Powledge wanted. We got to put Utah, he told us that they got to put Utah in bad down and distances on 3rd down. And then, of course, get off the field. With the new rule changes and no first downs stopping the clock, every possession and every turnover you can possibly get matters even more.
Mikey Matthews in motion. Under pressure, the blitz gets home. Barnes gets away. Flips it to the sideline and throws an interception right into the hands of Kyler Jordan. There is also a flag down on the play. Trey Wilson provided pressure. And Barnes tossed it to Kyler Jordan. Will check the marker. As things stand right now, it's a takeaway.
Offense number 78. The penalties decline. First down, Baylor.
Baylor has the football with 8 seconds to go in the quarter at the 32-yard line of Utah.
As you see Barnes break the pocket, that man right there has been like big man on campus, and he is. Amazing interception for the big fella. All right, everybody, I want you to watch these two guys right here. You're going to see this pressure come. He's going to drop and end up making the interception. But this is what you do. You move up. You have the game inside. You flush the quarterback. Yeah, you want the sack. But if you're my guy Jordan right there, dropping into coverage and being Johnny on the spot, catching the ball when it's thrown to you, that's amazing defense.
And now can Baylor do something with the turnover? Robertson off play action. A little middle screen. Richardson with a stiff arm. Lowers his shoulder. Into the red zone. Well, Baylor's first 2 offensive possessions began at their own 20-yard line and their own 8. So this will take us to the end of the first quarter. Starting a possession at the plus 32, and they pick up 14 yards. It's a hard-hitting matchup between the Bears and Utes. Scoreless after 1. Third, Chris Budden set for the start of the second quarter. Temperatures approaching 100 degrees here in Waco. Hotter than that on the field. and the heat turned up by Baylor. They get the takeaway, and they are in the red zone with a first down to begin the second quarter at the 18-yard line of Utah. Sawyer Robertson, little toss to Richard Reese, gets to the corner, and a flag throw. Levani Damuni made the tackle, but we'll have to check the penalty marker.
Personal foul, face mask, number 87 offense, 15-yard penalty, replay first down.
So that'll back up Dave Aranda's team 15 as Kelsey Johnson's called for the face mask.
Yeah, number 87 right there, blocking, got a hold of that face mask and just never let go. Can't do that. You got great field position here. Now you put yourself in the bind.
So it nets out to a loss of 10, first and 20. Robertson got him. Into the right flat. Catch is made by Hal Presley. And he's bumped out. A moment ago, Chris Button caught up with Dave Aranda.
Coach, how would you evaluate the effort and physicality your defense has played with so far?
No, I think they're playing with it, and so it's good to see. You know, we need to play like this coming off of last week. I think we can improve our execution. We've got them to a few third downs so that we can execute better. I think there's been some nerves and all of it. As this goes out, we've got to work through ours before they work through theirs.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
Man, don't know if I've ever seen a head coach be that calm on the sidelines in the middle of a big game like Dave Aranda, but that's who he is.
Well, Dave Aranda here has to sprint down the sideline to avoid a delay of game penalty to call timeout. We'll step aside for just a moment. Well, Matt, we're still scoreless here. Early second quarter between Baylor and number 12 Utah. Baylor coming off of a very disappointing loss last week to Texas State, and now flags fly. It looks like this may be a false start on the Bears. Again, they had 6 last week.
False start. Offense, number 74, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
So that's their second false start already this week. We've got featured games on ESPN Plus coming up later on. Number 18 Oklahoma hosts SMU at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. 14th ranked LSU against Grambling State at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, and TCU and Nicholls State, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. To get ESPN Plus, go to ESPNplus.com or download the ESPN app. So a couple of penalties backing up Baylor. Robertson to throw, lobs one, looking for the pylon, can't throw it down the chimney to Hal Presley. Crowd hoping for a call, but that looked like excellent coverage as Jachavis Broughton was there to wall off Presley.
Yes, it was excellent coverage, despite what the fans may be looking at. Both of these guys are hand fighting down the field, and the DB has a right to try to fight for the football there. If I'm Hal Presley, I would tell him, man, you got to run faster from the jump. It's easier to slow down than it is to speed up.
Speaking of jumping, that's exactly what Baylor just did again, trying to go with some tempo.
False start. Offense, number 79, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
That's false start number 3 on Baylor. And again, early second quarter, they had 6, as we said last week.
Yes, and that's the second one on number 79, Alvin Ebosole. I can only imagine that in his head right now, Dave Aranda is screaming, Alvin! Come on, man!
I don't know, based on the interview with Chris, I don't know if Dave Aranda screams ever at anything.
That's why I said specifically.
You were right.
How
calm did he seem? So 3rd and 21. And they'll throw the screen out to Presley. And he'll move inside the red zone and draw the field goal group a little bit closer. Damani made the stop. So Isaiah Hankins is about 11 yards closer for a field goal attempt to try and break the ice.
For Utah, this is a great defensive stand, trying to hold the Bears to 3 points after they were blessed with such great field position. And if you're the Baylor Bears, it's just a repeat of last week. It's the attention to details. You can't shoot yourself in the foot and win big-time games like you have here against the 12th-ranked Utes.
Hankins from 34. And Baylor has the lead. They shot themselves in the foot penalty-wise, though, and have to settle for a field goal.
Did get cupcakes.
Yeah, the guy that's shaped like me is coming back with pastry. you know that's happening.
It was an amazing time. The cupcakes from Chip and Joe. Really, Joe, we know this is all Joe. Joe does all the work. So thank you for this. And Bob, there you go, Bob. Oh, my goodness.
Now what?
Oh.
All right, let's go to the instant replay. Want to illustrate this?
Yeah, you see right here, you got Bob. You know what? Hey,
That's terrible.
you know what, Bob?
It's actually really good.
I just got to be honest, man. The fact that you just took that and ran with it, that's why you're one of the best, man.
All right. I'm actually enjoying the after effects of that. Jaquindon Jackson on 1st and 10 is the lone setback. I think that's Bryson Barnes out there at quarterback right now. I have no idea.
I don't know if Bob can see right now because the cupcake is on his
False
glasses.
start. Offense number 47. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Or the fact that I'm holding a cupcake in 100-some-odd degree weather and this thing hasn't melted yet. Robert, I want a rematch. I want to have tennis shoes on like you did, and I want a rematch on the pickleball court.
Okay, listen, Chris is serious about it. She pulled out the two-handed backhand on the pickleball court. I don't know what was going on, but I know I got to keep my head on a swivel now because Bob's going to get me back after that cupcake.
Hey, Johnson trying to bob and weave his way and gets out to about the 23-yard line. Devin Bobby came up to make the stop for Baylor.
All right, Bob, on a serious note.
Yeah.
You know what's odd is we talked to offensive coordinator Andy Ludwig, and he said he wanted to get his guys a little bit more time at the quarterback position before taking them out so they could get in a rhythm. But it feels like he's almost taking them out every couple plays. And I know as a quarterback, it's really hard to get a grasp of the game when you're constantly going back and forth from the sideline.
They keep it on the ground. Jackson breaking tackles. Jackson stays on his feet. Jaquindon Jackson, a quarterback in his own right, who asked to get into games as a running back last season just because he wanted to contribute. Busts one for 34.
Ooh-wee! Jaquindon Jackson, the former quarterback. Sometimes you ride the wave and sometimes you provide the wave. And boy, oh boy, did he provide the wave on that one. That big play is exactly what the Utes needed on offense. Get that running game going and maybe set up some play-action passes after.
Andy Ludwig told us they want to be a great play-action pass offense. Well, play-action only works if you can run the football.
Exactly.
And we'll see if that maybe is something that sets it up. As Nate Johnson is back in, straight back to throw. Fires one over the middle. Right up the seam. He's got a hookup. Devon Bailey down to the 10-yard line. 1st and goal, Utes.
And what do you know? Big run, play action pass right after that big run. Nate Johnson, hey, everyone's saying, I don't know if this guy can throw. Looks like he can throw pretty good to me. Sat there in the pocket, found his guy, gave him an opportunity to run after the catch. That's exactly what you're looking for.
So maybe surprising that Andy Ludwig would dial that play up for Nate Johnson. Now they've got Bryson Barnes back in at quarterback, 1st and goal. Jaylon Glover moves the pile with a flag down to the 7-yard line. TJ Franklin made the stop. The flag thrown behind the line of scrimmage. Baylor really hurt themselves with penalties at the other end.
Offense number 52. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
And now Utah hurts themselves with a holding penalty here. Big 12 Now is only on ESPN+. Here are today's featured matchup. BYU hosts Southern Utah at 3 Eastern. West Virginia will take on Duquesne at 6 Eastern, and TCU Nicholls State at 8 Eastern. If you're a Big 12 fan, you gotta have it. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com/Big 12 Now. Nate Johnson, Bryson Barnes, both in the game once again. Barnes takes the snap. Has time, looking for a check down that's broken up. Matt Jones, the linebacker, came up and knocked it away from Baylor.
You know, Matt Jones was their 3rd leading tackler last year. Played a lot of football here as a 5th-year senior with the Baylor Bears, and that's textbook how you get the ball out without pass interfering on the receiver.
So now 2nd down and goal. But after that holding penalty, back to the 20-yard line. 4-man rush for Baylor. Stepping up in the pocket, looking to escape as Barnes tries to turn the corner. Tracked down and ridden down by Matt Jones. He picked up 5. It'll be 3rd down and goal.
Most impressive thing right there from Matt Jones was he came out of coverage to go chase down Bryson Barnes, because you're not expecting Bryson Barnes to really hurt you with his feet, but he's having to break the pocket quickly here early in the game.
An injury for Baylor, so we'll step aside. 5 minutes gone by here in the 2nd quarter. Goal, but back at the 15-yard line.
Like I told you, Bob, those freshmen, that's how they keep that freshman 15 off, running that Baylor line every home game.
For Baylor, Trevon Ma'ai was hurt. Walked off the field. Here's Nate Johnson. He's got nowhere to go. And he gets pile drive down to the turf by Mike Smith.
Mike Smith said, not today. You bring in Nate Johnson, try to steal some yardage here with a nice quarterback run. Oh, man, they hit them boys with a Dudley Boys special. Tag team action right there on that tackle.
So now it is Cole Becker from 31 to try and tie the game. He was 1 for 2 on opening day. And he is now 1 for 1 today. Both teams get to the red zone. Both teams commit penalties, though, and have to settle for 3. One of us ate a cupcake involuntarily. I ate some of a cupcake. I wore the rest.
Oh, my gosh. You wore it well, Bob. You really did.
Papa Juicin'. My new enemy, RG3. Chris Budden here in Baylor. Corey Gordon on the return out to the 21-yard line. So Baylor back to work, tied at 3. Week 1 NFL Sunday is here tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. Beginning with the Countdown Crew on ESPN and the app. And then the 54th season of Monday Night Football kicks off with Josh Allen and the Bills meeting Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, ESPN Plus. Peyton and Eli are back for their 3rd season on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus as well. Coverage begins with Scott Van Pelt and the new look Monday Night Countdown Crew at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. I've also been told the local Jet radio broadcast in New York is outstanding.
Oh, wow.
And you may want to tune into that as well. We'll see.
Yes, Bob Wischusen will be leading that crew.
Out of the pocket goes Robertson. Scrambles to the sideline. And he gets out to about the 23-yard line. And Chris Budden, we're at least in the shade up here. The same can't be said for you.
Yeah, you're dodging cupcakes. I'm trying to dodge the heat. I have a radar gun that says how hot the field is. It says 134. It's gotten all the way to 146.
Wow.
At times, you know, Utah, there's no way to simulate practicing in this heat. They've been practicing in the mornings. They did tell me during fall camp in the afternoons, they did see triple digits. Last year when they were going on the road to play Florida, they could play indoors, water the field to simulate that humidity. There is nothing to simulate what we're dealing with outside today.
Yeah, it's been the hottest summer on record, and it has been relentless here in Texas as well. Dominic Richardson finds a crease into the secondary, and he's got a first down out to the 35-yard line. What impact? You actually played games in temperatures like this at this very school. So what type of an impact, especially on an opponent, does it have a cumulative effect as the game goes on?
There you go. It's not about the beginning of the game. It's about when you get late in the third, fourth quarter that your muscles get a little bit more tired. You start to cramp up a little bit. And I can tell everyone at home right now, triple digits in Utah is not the same thing as triple digits in Texas. This is a different type of heat, hot, humid, all that put together. You just got to see Baylor's going to try to continue to run the football to wear this defensive line down and see if this heat can help them.
Cut back for Richard Reese. Tough to bring down. Grinds out 3 yards. Well, there is at least a little over a dozen of this roster for Utah that knows what this heat is all about, because if you're recruiting football players, you're going to come to Texas to try and find some. And they do have 15 players on the roster from Texas, but of course they haven't been, as you said, holding camp here.
Exactly. And we talked to Kyle Whittingham, and he understands that, the best players in the entire country all come from the state of Texas. So he knows he had to get some of those guys on his roster.
If you do say so yourself. Robertson. Seam shot down the sideline, reaching up is Keytron Jackson to haul it in. There's the first big passing play. A strike from Robertson to Jackson for 30.
Yes, it's been a struggle today, but watch him get the inside leverage and then go vertical. That's what you got to do sometimes when those DBs are playing you heavily outside. Just take the easiest release when you're running vertical down the field and restack them. Nice job by the wide receiver, Keytron Jackson there, and a beautiful throw. Sawyer Robertson.
The Arkansas transfer. Keytron Jackson, he can take the top off the defense, and he is the widest to the near side left. Back to the ground attack. And Dominic Richardson lowers his shoulders for 3 more.
Speaking with offensive coordinator for the Baylor Bears, Jeff Grimes, this week, he did point out number 11, Keytron Jackson, is the guy that could really help them take their offense to the next level because of his dynamic ability catching the ball and after the catch. So you've noticed they've tried to go to him 3-4 times already in this game because they know that he has untapped potential that can help them throughout the year.
The toss to Richard Reese. Nice cutback. A little jab step down to the 20-yard line. Into the red zone to the 19. He picks up 10. Reese was a first-team freshman All-American last year and the Big 12 Offensive Freshman of the Year.
Yes, he was. And he set a program record with 976 yards for a freshman with 14 touchdowns. This year is supposed to be a big breakout for him, and also Dominic Richardson, the transfer from Oklahoma State. They think that they have a formidable 1-2 punch. They just need the line to give them a little bit more space to make plays.
Play action. Robertson rolls and has to dirt the ball at the feet of Keytron Jackson. The freshman Logan Fano was not fooled by the play action fake. Stayed home and forced the throwaway.
And just a smart play there by Sawyer, making sure that you don't make 2 bads or 2 rights or wrong. If nobody's open, you stretch out the play as much as you possibly can, and dirting the ball right there might not help your stats, but it will put you in a better down and distance like they are right now at 2nd and 10.
Robertson escapes the pressure. A little shovel pass. It looked like, though, Al Presley was already out of bounds. And it is an incomplete pass as he couldn't haul that in. So now it will be 3rd down and 10 at the 19-yard line.
You got Sawyer thinking about it. Oh, if you're the DB, the DB lineman, you got to make that play. Al Presley, just be a little bit more aware of where your surroundings are there on the sideline. But Sawyer Robertson tried to pull a little Patrick Mahomes there. And it's not as easy as it looks, people.
Good pressure from Tabita Futu, forcing the incompletion. A handoff on 3rd down. Close to the 10-yard line is Richardson. Did he get the first down? It looks like he did by a half yard. 3rd down and 10, run in the red zone, and Dominic Richardson powers his way for 10.5 as Lander Barton got carried.
This is what you call grit. He gets to the 2nd level, past the line of scrimmage before he gets hit, and just keeps churning and churning and churning his legs to get that first down. both of these teams are leaning heavily on their running game to help them on these scoring drives.
Although Baylor on first down inside the 10-yard line. For the moment went empty. And now Dawson Pendergrass motions into the backfield. Quarterback power. Robertson to the 5. Robertson, an extra effort and a dive to the 4-yard line. And Travis Broughton made the tackle. It'll be second down and goal.
You know, it's an element that Sawyer Robertson brings to this Baylor offense that maybe Blake Shapen doesn't, as in his ability to take big hits. This is a big kid. I mean, 6'4", 210 pounds. And I don't know, he might have grown a little bit because I stood next to this guy at a camp I throw here at Baylor every year, talk to him, and I'm like, man, he's making me feel small. And I'm a good 6'2", and 5'8", Bob. I'm not a small guy.
Richardson, 4 on the play clock, in motion. A nice fit by Robertson. Cruise control to the pylon for a Baylor touchdown. What a drive by the Bears. For the point after. And it's a touchdown lead for Baylor. Sawyer Robertson was the number 10 pocket passing quarterback coming out of high school, according to our ESPN recruiting gurus, but here turns into a runner.
Yes, he is, and you're going to see him. He's going to make a read off of this defensive end here, and he's got pullers coming in front of him, and all he's going to do now is work his way outside, and everybody collapses down on the defense, and he knows if you're doing that, it's going to be an easy stroll into the end zone for 6. Sawyer Robertson showing why he is and was a dynamic high school dual threat quarterback.
So it's a 10-3 Baylor lead, and this season for every field goal an extra point made by participating universities, All-State will make a contribution to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, as always, to All-State. So now, how does Utah respond? 100-degree temperatures on the road against a team that they watched on tape last week at times get shoved around a bit by Texas State. This doesn't look like the same team up front that they saw last week, at least on film. Now, how do the Utes respond?
Oh, it certainly does not look like the same Baylor team, but the Utes and their offensive coordinator, Andy Ludwig, talked all week about controlling the football, not losing the time of possession, and running the football effectively. And right now, the running game is doing decent, but passing it, they just have not been able to find a rhythm with Bryson Barnes.
Let's check in with Matt Barry.
All right, guys, coming up on the Lexus halftime report, Colorado week 2 locked in a battle with Nebraska. We'll show you highlights of that. Plus, have been touching on it all afternoon. Georgia finally woke up in their game. We'll have highlights of it. Speaking of the great state of Texas, you've got Texas and Alabama tonight. The rematch is going to be a fun one. Dan Mullen, Joey Galloway join me coming up on the Lexus halftime report.
After this game, I'm driving down to Austin, fly home. I'm thinking Austin will be quiet tonight in the streets, right? Long throw to the sideline. Did the toe drag work for Devon Baylor? Yes, it did. Out to the 40-yard line.
Oh, my Lord. I want y'all to watch this. Devon Baylor on the sideline. Oh, tiptoed in his Jordans on the sideline with the catch. Absolutely love it. Only need one in college, but he got 2.
Replay wants to take a look.
Okay. Let's take a look with him then. All you're looking for is to make sure that he secures the catch. There's the catch. Got both feet in. Goes down. Does he control it all the way through?
The previous play has been reviewed, and the ruling of a catch is confirmed. first down.
Wow.
That's my kind of replay.
Yeah, that was fast. I'm right here saying, yeah, it's a catch. Yes, it's a catch.
You couldn't even get out of your own description. And replay was already like, yes, confirmed. Yes, we like that pace.
That is what the fans like, too.
Is that a confidence-building throw for Bryson Barnes when you rip one outside the numbers to the sideline like that?
100%. I was over here in the booth saying, oh, my goodness, what a throw. Bryson Barnes is showing that he's got a little arm talent out there. Maybe they need to trust him throwing the football a little bit more.
And off to Glover. Up the middle for 1.5 yards. Devin Bobby came up and made the stop. Plenty of time on the clock for the Utes. They've got 2.5 minutes to work with, and they have all 3 timeouts as well.
You know, when you look at Bryson Barnes' numbers right now, 2 for 6, 28 yards and interception. That's not like egging the coach on to let me throw the football a little bit more. But they are running the ball effectively, averaging 6.1 yards per carry. Got to find a way to get the passing game synced up with the running game.
Barnes from a clean pocket. Mikey Matthews makes the catch, but could not escape Mike Smith Jr. So he picked up about 4. And that brings up 3rd down and 4, and that keeps the clock rolling.
You know, one thing offensive coordinator Andy Ludwig really wanted to work on this game was their tempo on offense. And when I say that, it's not that they're going to go fast every single play. It's that getting in and out of the huddle, changing the personnel, calling the play, getting that execution done faster has been a point of emphasis, and it'll really help them here inside of 2 minutes in the second quarter.
Here comes a Baylor blitz. Knocked down at the line. It's an incomplete pass as Matt Jones picked it up after the carom. That stops the clock with 1:28. So that will bring the punt group out for Utah. And that also gives Baylor enough time with 1.5 minutes or so on the clock and 2 timeouts to take one more crack at it before halftime.
Yes, it does, which is also means that this punt return could be one of the biggest plays of the first half. Whether you field this and get a great return or allow it to go out of the back of the end zone, Baylor's got to have it on right now.
Bomeister looking for the sideline. Forces Cameron into a fair catch at the 13-yard line. Now a quick word from Cheez-It.
I'm RG3Z. See you next time.
Right,
hey, who changed my name to RG3Z?
Me? It's a great combo. Like college football and Cheez-It, you like?
You cheddar believe it.
And how will college football fans feel?
They're gonna be feeling the cheesiest! Woo!
And you brought samples.
And I got the samples for you this week, Bob.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Who doesn't love Cheez-Its?
So now how frisky does Baylor get with their play calling, starting inside their own 15-yard line with the lead?
First down in these 2-minute drill situations is the most important thing. I think they'll be a little conservative and try to get a high percentage play.
They look for a screen, and that's broken up immediately. It's picked up. Did the officials say that Jonah Burton did not have possession, which it seemed like he did not, and there is the incomplete pass call as Theo Johnson came up to make a hit.
And like I said, they're going to try to be, high percentage, throw a screen, see if it works, and then make a decision how they're going to run the rest of the drive. But Utah, in true Utah fashion on defense, smothering on top of it. They understand the situation. And I honestly don't think there's a better team in all of college football that understands situational football better than the Utes.
Well, they might be ready to pop a timeout in this set of downs as well. They'll run it with Richardson. And there he goes again, picking up a first down and more. Bulldozes his way out close to the 30-yard line. Inside of 2 minutes, the clock stops in college football after a first down. So at least for the moment, with 1:04 on the clock, it pauses. And right back to work is Robertson. Floats one down the sideline for Jackson. In between 2 defenders, he climbs the ladder and hauls it in. Sandwiched by Bishop and Vaughn, and Tetron Jackson picks up 40.
This is how you go up and make an HBO type of play, Bob. Help a brother out. Sawyer learned from his last deep ball.
Please reset the game clock to 55 seconds, and it'll start on my whistle.
Thank you, Mr. Ref. Listen, Sawyer learned from his last deep ball. You got to give your guy an opportunity. Don't overthrow him. Okay, he's talking to me too. All right, much love. Giving his guy an opportunity to make a play. Keyshawn Jackson goes up, makes that play for the quarterback. Man, they're riding high right now.
Robertson, slant left, incomplete. He threw that one behind Drake Dabney, his favorite target from last week. Stops the clock with 45 seconds.
I always tell people there's a reason that wide receivers catch the ball and DBs play DB. It's usually because the wide receiver can track it and catch it at a much higher level. So always give your receiver a chance, young quarterbacks at homes. If you're throwing the ball down the field, give them a chance to go make a play for you.
All of a sudden, some chunk plays for Baylor in the passing game. They've got a 7-point lead, and they're already inside of what they believe is Isaiah Hankins' comfortable field goal range. Still with 2 timeouts. 4-man rush. Robertson dancing in the pocket, finds a check down, and the ball pops out. Oh, getting walloped was Richard Reese. It was scooped up after the hit, and the officials, I think, are saying catch and fumble forced by Lander Barton. Damani came up with the recovery. A punishing hit from Lander Barton. And let's check the call on the field.
The ruling on the field is a completed pass, fumbled and recovered by the defense. First down, Utah.
Very close. Replay will certainly want to take another look after that hit by Barton.
I will tell you what, Barton putting it on Richard Reese. Somebody get that man some milk. No.
I don't know.
Barton saw his man, Micah Pittman, get hit on that punt return. And he said, oh, you going to baptize him like that? I got something for you. What do you think about the catch here, though?
Reese has to control the ball.
Correct.
Get a couple of feet down and become a runner. I'm not sure that second foot even got down, and the ball already was jarred free. This is a judgment call where you might get different replay booths that might look at it differently. And again, if it's ruled a fumble on the field, it has to be indisputable.
Correct.
Based on these replays to change that call. My first instinct is he didn't become a runner yet, and this is incomplete. But it's close enough that based on what they called on the field, they may have to stick with it. I would say incomplete.
I think you're right, because that second foot didn't get down. So he didn't truly get to become a runner yet. And honestly, the ball looked like it might have been shuffling around a little bit as he was trying to tuck it. But like you said, on the field, they ruled it a fumble. So it's got to be indisputable for them to overturn it. But nevertheless, what a hit by Lander Barton.
Another quick review.
After review, the ruling on the field is changed to an incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd down, Baylor at the 32-yard line. Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 42 seconds.
That's a big break for Baylor, though, as another half a second or so, and that planting hit by Lander Barton could have changed the game.
If Lander Barton would have hit him just a millisecond later and that second foot had gotten down, I think the call would have stood as a fumble after that hit. Huge break for the Baylor Bears, still with an opportunity to get some points here before the half.
3rd down and 10 after an incomplete pass, and Richardson will run it. And let's see if they just bleed the clock down now and try and kick a field goal. Utah, though, is going to try and preserve some time. So the Utes trying to save some time if they can. And what a lineup we have for you this weekend. And Monday on ESPN, the U.S. Women's Open Final is this afternoon. Saturday Night Football, Texas, Alabama. The U.S. Open Men's Final tomorrow afternoon. And then Week 1 Monday Night Football, Josh Allen and the Bills, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. Monday night at 8 Eastern. That is some kind of a lineup.
That's star-studded. That's a star-studded lineup. That's how we do it over here at ESPN, right? Right, Bob? That's how we do it.
Good promo. Well done. 44 yards for Isaiah Hankins to try and add to the Baylor lead. And this one's no good. Missed it to the near side. And now, because Utah called that timeout, they preserve some time and get some field position after the miss.
Oh, wow, that one never had a chance, Bob. But you're right. Utah now has an opportunity. And really, it's just this first play. How's this first play going to go? You saw the Bears when they started their drive. They started off with a screen. It got smoked out. Then they ran the ball in the next play and got a big gain. Right here, as an offensive play caller, you're also trying to see how does this first play work out and how aggressive am I going to be, because the last thing you want to do is give the defense an opportunity to make a play and get Baylor the ball back.
A flip to the flat, and that will stop the clock.
Now you're rolling.
With a first down to Jackson.
It's the first play and the first down that is the most important when you get in these 2-minute situations. So right there, Bryson Barnes finding some time, getting the ball to his check down. Now Utah's thinking, all right, we need about 20, 25, 30 yards to get ourselves in a makeable field goal for our field goal kicker.
And there is Jaquindon Jackson down and maybe cramping. And this, with these temperatures, as you said earlier, is predictable, right?
Yeah, there's the heat. I mean, if the fans at home could go through an entire offseason with some of these players and how hard they work with their strength coaches to put on the muscle mass and the weight and be explosive, when you get into extreme temperatures like like Chris Button said, is on the field at 134 degrees, man, guys, your body doesn't know how to respond to that sometimes, and your muscles can cramp up. So getting the electrolytes in you, water, Gatorade, whatever it may be on the sideline is going to be a massive point of emphasis for the Utah Utes for the rest of this game.
Good to see Micah Pittman, though, back in the game. We should make note of that after he was shaken up with a headshot on a punt return earlier in the half. He's part of that bunch set left, and there he goes, splitting out wide in motion. Barnes from a clean pocket, extending the play. He's going to run to the sideline, and he's out of bounds at the 38, maybe the 39-yard line. Picked up a yard. Byron Vaughns forced him out. Utah still has a couple of timeouts left, but now they're down to 21 seconds.
Yeah, and as a dual threat guy, I know Bryson Barnes isn't really considered that much of a dual threat, but when you get in those running situations, if you can't get a big gain, you might as well throw the football away to preserve the time. Scrambling right there to get minimal yardage really puts you behind the 8 ball when it comes to what you're trying to do and score on this drive.
Barnes, again, with all day to throw. Can't find anyone open downfield, and that pass is deflected on the way out by Maya. So now with 14 seconds to go, they're facing third down.
If Maya didn't get that big old paw on that football, there's a big 15 to 20-yard passing play that was going to happen right there by Bryson Barnes. He saw his guy break out in the scramble drill, but that's why they always tell defenders on the D-line, if you can't get to the quarterback, get your hands up and play volleyball.
Conservative on third down. Let's see if we go to halftime now as Mike Smith Jr. made the stop, or will Dave Aranda call a timeout and force a punt? It does not look like Baylor will call time, and it is now the half with the Bears on top by a touchdown. Baylor will also start the third quarter with the football. And night and day from last week, Robert, in terms of the physicality, it seems, of this Baylor team.
Yeah, no one saw this coming when you got the 12th-ranked Utes coming into Waco after they had one of the worst defeats in all of program history against Texas State, 26-point underdogs. And Dave Aranda said, we're not doing a lot of things.
It's a touchdown lead for Baylor. I'm Bob Wischusen. I'm a wimp. I'm not wearing my jacket. RG3 has just a different level of endurance. 100 degrees, you still have your jacket on. I'm impressed. And three's keys.
Yes.
We talked about these in the first half, how they've played out so far in this game. Whoever would have seen this Baylor team that we saw last week get shoved around a bit be this physical today?
Exactly. You talk about Armageddon. It's going to be a game of physicality, and both these teams have come ready to run the football. And the team that prevails will be the one that probably runs for the most yards. Lose yourself. Sawyer Robinson, first start in college football. You go out, he's got 145 yards of total offense and a touchdown. And then tight is right. The tight ends are a big factor for both of these teams, and they have one catch between the two of them, because the other tight portion is the tight coverage on defense, and they have been locking down the passing game on both sides for Baylor and Utah.
Baylor begins the third quarter with the football as well. And they will start at their own 25-yard line. Let's check in with Chris Button, caught up earlier with Dominic Richardson.
More efficiently this week. What's been the difference in the run game for you guys?
We've just been executing. I can't think the line much. They're working hard, getting pushing up off the line, and the running backs is running hard. So if we do our jobs and they do their jobs, everything works out fine.
What will be important for you guys to remember on offense is to sustain this momentum in the second half?
Got to keep on with the Mamba mentality. We got to go hard every play, no plays off, run the ball hard. Linemen got to keep on blocking their butts off.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Richardson has been tough to bring down. Here's Richard Reese to start off the second half. And he picks up 5, maybe 6 yards on first down. So that will already, Robert, put Baylor over 100 yards rushing today. And I don't think, if you watch the tape from last week's game, you would have seen that coming.
No, not at all. You heard Dominic Richardson say it right there. It's all about the offensive line. Yes, they moved left tackle to right tackle, put the backup left tackle in there, moved around some other guys, and they're finally getting the results they want against a team that their identity is physicality. Right now, Baylor is taking that away from Utah at the point of attack.
A toss to Reese. Jitterbugs in the open field. He's got a first down. As Sawyer Robertson took a hit, but got the ball out to Reese. By the way, the first play was actually a slightly forward toss. That was a passing play to Reese. This, a clear run that puts them over 100 yards rushing.
Yeah, and Sione Vaki right there in the open field didn't go for the stutter step. He closed the distance and then exploded for the tackle. I know people might think, I only played quarterback when I was playing, but I did play a little bit of DB too, so I know how to break that down for you.
It's a good thing you picked quarterback. Right up the gut, Richardson. You're picking up 8 yards on first down against this defense. You're blocking things up, and their offensive line just been a different group. And Richardson, it looks like, is hurt.
Oh, no, you don't want to see that from any of the players on the field. Hope he gets up and he's okay.
So we'll step aside as Dominic Richardson, the Oklahoma State transfer, is being tended to. While we were away, Dominic Richardson limping, his left leg hurt, off the field and into the injury tent on the Baylor sideline. And you can see his left leg hit right there. So he led Oklahoma State in rushing last season, transfers to Baylor, leading them today. But now out of the game. Back to throw is Robertson. Lobs one down the sideline. Drops it in. Drake Dabney had 6 catches for 101 yards last week. It took him a while to show up this week, but the Big Ten ends got 35 yards.
I said tight is right, and the tight ends are a big part of the game plan. Sawyer Robinson dropped back to pass there, found the Wi-Fi connection, and airdropped a beauty into Drake Dabney down the sideline. Beautiful execution.
First impact play by a tight end today for either team, and you talked about how important you thought that position had to be for both.
Both of these teams like to use tight ends to formulate mismatches in the secondary. Right there, you saw it right there with Dabney running down the field with a linebacker on him.
High snap pulled down. Dawson Pendergrass picks up a couple. Of course, this Utah team had the best tight end group in America last season. Dalton Kincaid now with the Bills. They are without Brant Keithy today again. So he's their best tight end, but lurking behind is Thomas Yasmin as a weapon. He really hasn't been utilized in their offense at all.
No, he hasn't. And this Utah team, it's not just Thomas Yasmin, but it's also Landon King, a very talented tight end transfer from Auburn. But both of these teams, when you get a linebacker or a safety on you, these tight ends who can truly stretch the field, they give you the advantage.
Keeper for Robertson. Picks up a yard and a flag comes out. The converted linebacker playing defensive end, Jonah Ellis, dragged him down.
Clearly a late hit there by Keanu.
After the play was over, personal foul, late hit, number 57 defense, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down, Baylor.
So Keanu Tanuvasa, a costly penalty. It was about to be third down at about 7 or so in the red zone. Instead, it's goal to go.
You know, at times defenders can just try to play all the way through the whistle and give maximum effort. But right there, Tanuvasa has to know quarterback's down. It's one of the most protected positions in all of football, whether it's NFL or pro. You can't do that.
Jet sweep. Jonah Burton pinned up against the sideline. Looks like he stepped out at the 7. Xander Barton, another hit for Utah.
And you're seeing Baylor switch it up a little bit here, right? They attack you with the running game. Then they're throwing deep shots down the field to their tight ends. Now they're running the jet sweeps. Although both of these teams like to huddle a lot, they are going to formation the heck out of you, use motions, and give you different things to chew on throughout the game. Right now, Jeff Grimes appears to be in his bag here early in the second half.
Robertson lobs one. Incomplete. Missed Hal Presley. Now it's third down and goal from the 7. Also, all of these pre-snap motions and shifts and all of the misdirection. How hard is it with your backup quarterback to have command of all of those things you would want to employ as a play caller?
It's very difficult because Jeff Grimes' offense is known to be a difficult one to know and understand. Shapen's had multiple years in the system, so Robertson's not going to be as far along in mastering all of that. But Jeff Grimes did say he has no hesitation to call any play in the playbook with Sawyer Robertson in the game.
Utah's forced third down and goal. They bring a blitz. A lob to the opposite side. Broken up. Jackson, the intended receiver. Zamaya Vaughn. Good position to knock it away. Utah bends, but they don't break.
DB's at home. Watch this. Once the ball is in the air, you become the wide receiver. That's exactly what Zamaya Vaughn did. Don't try to play defender and just knock it down. He tried to catch that interception, attack the ball when it's in the air. Beautiful DB play there by Zamaya Vaughn.
Hankins missed before halftime. This to make it a 2-score lead once again. And this time he's got it. Baylor with a 10-point lead. 4 minutes gone by in the third. Lots of changes in college sports conference-wise. Plenty of change in the Big 12. Only 10 members in 2022. But in 2023, Houston, Cincinnati, BYU, UCF all join the Big 12 party. Texas and Oklahoma will leave for the SEC next year. But Colorado, Arizona, Arizona State, and Utah will become new members. So beginning next season, this will be a conference game in this league. And so much shifting back and forth. You wonder where this is all headed for college football. I don't know, Robert, we talked about this last week with the Pac-12 obviously as the focus because we were in Washington. Ultimately, I think it's headed towards a big, independent of all other college sports, college football league.
Correct. And unlike with the Pac-12, where they're going from the West Coast to the East Coast, the Big 12 is more centralized with the teams that they have coming into it. I think the focus for the Big 12 is more about who is going to be the new bully in the Big 12 with Texas and Oklahoma leaving. So when you talk about that, this game right here with Utah and Baylor, I know Baylor lost to Texas State last week, but this was primed as like, hey, this could be two teams facing off against each other that could be the new centerpieces of what the Big 12 is, and not just in football, but in all sports.
The Matthews return out to the 24-yard line. 1st and 10 Utah at their own 24. Jaquindon Jackson, who was shaken up in the last half, is able to get back in the game. He goes right up the middle, runs through contact at the line of scrimmage, and there is Utah football showing up once again. A push for 12 yards. Let's go down to Chris.
Well, in true Texas hospitality, if you're driving up north on I-35 south of Waco, there's just a couple days ago that welcomes Utah into the Big 12. Right.
Looks like we lost Chris's microphone once again, as Jackson's the lone setback. Hand off Jackson. Again, breaks the first tackle at the line of scrimmage and becomes hard to bring down. He picks up 9 more.
And it seems like this Utah offense has said to themselves, all right, guys, it's really tough for us to throw the football right now. But what we can do is come out in the second half and let it be known that we're going to be committed to the running game and moving the pile. This is the Utah team that you expected to see come out. And now, listen, maybe we thought the Heat would get to them a little bit. But the Baylor's defensive front, their front seven seems to be reeling a little bit here on this first drive of really winning at the point of attack.
They stay with Jackson. He's got a first down.
You know, Bob, to revisit some of that conversation about realignment, just like we talked about last week, it's really about what's best for the student athlete. Because having to travel so far cross country is not good for them, not good for their studies, not good for their recovery. It's not good for the fans. It's not good for people trying to follow these teams all around the country, the rivalries. So your idea of having a massive conference that you really could just centralize everything would be so much better for college football if they could get it done in the next year or two.
Barnes out of the pocket. Heaves one to a crosser. That's Devon Baylor, but he's unable to catch up to it. So now it'll be second down and 10 near midfield. And I guess the question is, how long does it take to maybe get to that eventuality? I mean, to me, the perfect world of college sports would be to have a massive college football conference broken up regionally so that travel, as you said, is not ridiculous, and take all of the other non-football sports and go back to the conferences they were all in like 20 years ago when they were playing logical opponents, right, in their own backyard.
Exactly.
Maybe someday we'll get there. Looping around is Micah Pittman, and he looped right into a big hit. And looped into a 2-yard loss. DJ Franklin was waiting for him.
And that's exactly what they told us they wanted to do all week. Play behind the line of scrimmage. This front seven's supposed to be the strength of the team. TJ Franklin has showed up today, despite what everyone said last week about him not having his best game. He came in here on a mission.
The Utes are 1 for 7 on third down, trying to keep this drive alive behind the chains. Third down and 12. Bryson Barnes with a blitz coming. It's picked up. Fires one. Incomplete. It looked like he wanted Baylor on a crosser, and Baylor broke his route off and sat down in the zone. So it will be a Utah punt.
Bryson Barnes was looking for his man across the middle of the field, but I'm telling you guys, he had a touchdown deep down the field. If he could have been protected for just a half second more, he could have made that play. But Mike Smith Jr. putting the pressure on the quarterback, making him have to get rid of the ball before he wants to. It's exactly what the defense cooked up. It's the result that they wanted.
Cameron with a fair catch at about the 13-yard line. Now we've got time for our Aflac trivia question. Aflac. Kyle Whittingham, in his 19th season, trails only Kirk Ferentz for most seasons at his current school, but he's tied for second. Who's he tied with?
Oh. I think I have an idea. And by the way, people, the longevity of Kyle Whittingham is a great thing. Anytime you see someone be at the same place for 15-plus years, that you understand this is a great coach. But he told us this week the only reason he's been able to do it is because of his players. So he understands where that good stuff is coming from.
Seam shot and an interception. A miscommunication as Josh Cameron, the intended receiver, stayed outside. Zamiah Vaughn stayed inside, and oh, is that exactly what Utah needed? A plus territory takeaway.
You're 100% right, Bob. You're a quarterback, Sawyer Robinson, back here going to throw. And the DB, like I said, when the ball is in the air, it is yours. We saw Zamiah Vaughn do it in the end zone to knock down a touchdown. And right here, he makes the play. Obviously, you want him to stay up a little bit right there so he can return it.
But, oh, my gosh, Utah needed that so badly, and what a humongous mistake for the Baylor Bears.
A former walk-on, his second career interception. And now let's see if the Utah offense, with Nate Johnson back in at quarterback, can make something of this field position. Jet sweep. Money Parks. Inside the 35. Down to about the 33-yard line. He picks up 3. Mike Smith Jr., another tackle. Utah's not spent a lot of time in plus territory.
No, they have not. 5 plays in the opponent's territory. That is not at all what offensive coordinator Andy Ludwig had in mind going into this, really the second half of the game. More times than not, they get more than that in the first quarter.
Back to Barnes at quarterback. Back to the ground, and Jaquindon Jackson spins inside the 30, close to a first down. Bryson Jackson, the only player remaining for Baylor from their 2017 class. That's right, it's 2023. He was part of the 2017 class. He's a grad super senior in his 7th year with the program. COVID, medical redshirt. He's the graybeard. He's still hanging here.
Man, I think I might have played with Bryson.
Third down and less than 1. Jaquindon Jackson. First down.
Oh, come on!
Injury timeout on the field, so we will step aside. Jackson down. Play. Being tended to on the sideline, but hopefully he'll be able to get back in the game. Let's answer our Aflac trivia question. Kyle Whittingham in his 19th season trails only Kirk Ferentz for most seasons at his current school, who is tied with Whittingham for second. You had a guess.
I'm going to say it's Gundy at Oklahoma State.
He's a man.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
You were right.
I am not 40, by the way. 33, but it's a great line.
Talk about 3 coaches that basically are their respective programs. Those 3 men certainly are. Kyle Whittingham has done such a great job with the Utes. Trying to come from behind now, though. Monty Parks has a lane. Flag down. He turned the corner. There was no one there. He picked up the first down. Caden Jenkins bumped him out, but a flag thrown in the tackle box. This one might be coming back.
Usually that means it's something of the holding nature.
Holding, offense number 52. 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
Well, just as the eye in the sky up here watching that play, Michael Mokafisi called for the hold. Robert, I bet he held a player that would have had no chance to factor in on that tackle.
None at all.
Let's see.
That's Mokafisi right there. It literally has almost nothing to do with the play. That defender's not going to make that tackle. Little ticky-tack call there, if you're asking me. What the Mokafisi's going on, guys?
5:48, and the clock rolling. Barnes back to throw. Has time, scans the field, and goes down. T.J. Franklin brings him down, maybe at the line of scrimmage. Possibly a sack for a loss of 1, but it will be second down and long.
Oh, yeah, T.J. Franklin here, the 6'5", 265-pound fifth-year senior. It's not like he made an absolutely beautiful move on the tackle there, but what he did was he contained on the quarterback, and then disengaged as soon as the quarterback tried to scramble. That is textbook defensive end play when you're trying to make sure you keep the quarterback in the pocket.
Play clock down to 4. They get the snap off. Barnes looks downfield. Deep ball to the sideline. Broken up. Devon Bailey, the intended receiver. Caden Jenkins, the freshman, tested again and passes the test.
Yes, he did. Almost looked like the receiver was open, and guess what, guys? He was. If Bryson Barnes would have been just a tick earlier with the throw, it probably would have been a completion. But because he wasn't, now you create a contested catch opportunity there, and the DB for Baylor knocked it down.
3rd down and 20. And you're probably thinking about field goal range as much as you are anything here, just to make it a one-score game again. Little Statue of Liberty trick play, and up the middle, spinning is Bryson Barnes. Tough to bring down, but that'll make it a field goal of more in the range of 45 to 46 yards now as Devin Bobby made the stop. Let's check in with Chris.
Well, Jaquindon Jackson had been approved to go back in. He went into the injury tent, underwent some concussion protocol, but has been approved to continue playing in this game.
That's good news. They will need him as the game wears on, and they need these 3 points as well. Cole Becker from 46. It's got the distance, and it is right down the middle. That's a clutch kick from the junior Cole Becker. And the lead, once again, is a touchdown. 4:05 to go in the 3rd. Back to Matt Barrow.
All right, updating you on Colorado, Nebraska. Shedeur Sanders, 22 of 32, 2 touchdowns. Nebraska just has given him too much time. Separation right now. That Xavier Weaver, 20-7 Buffs.
Is what's going on with Colorado right now the biggest story in college football?
Yes. Yes, it is the biggest story in college football. And not a lot of people like the fact of how Deion Sanders has gone about putting his team together, or the bravado that they showed after winning that game. But when your team, you take over a team that was 1-11 last season, you're going to celebrate every win. And so are their fans. And I think it's great for college football.
Jonah Burton hoping for a return opportunity. This one's going to hook to the sideline and go out of bounds.
Ooh.
So a special teams mistake by Cole Becker as he knocks through a 46-yard field goal, then hooks the kick out. Well, time now for today's weekend lineup, brought to you by Wendy's Beef. All right, besides Texas, Alabama, that's the big one. We know that's the one everyone will focus on tonight. What's the game on there that jumps out at you the most?
Man, I'm not going to lie. It's got to be this one right here. Ole Miss, Tulane, Jackson Dart, Michael Pratt. Tulane, I called their bowl game last year when they went against USC, and Heisman Trophy winner Caleb Williams. What a phenomenal job of staying gritty and making that one work. But as you said, everyone's focused on Texas and Alabama because this is a big moment for Texas football. Going to the SEC next year, they got a chance to try to knock off one of the big dogs in Alabama, in Tuscaloosa.
Speaking of being a big dog, how about Dominic Richardson back in the game?
Oh.
He gets walloped right at the line of scrimmage. Barton, the money boat there.
You know, it's great to see Richardson back out there. I know the coaches are happy he's back out there, but even from a fan perspective, I want everyone at home to know that these guys are more than just players. They're more than just athletes. They've got career aspirations, you know, the quality of their life. We don't ever want to see any of these guys get hurt, no matter how big the rivalry or how big the game is. Their health is the #1 priority, so it's great to see him back out there playing.
Play clock winding down for Baylor. Robertson, toss to the power side. Looking for a cutback lane was Dominic Richardson. And he's brought down after a gain of a couple by Jonah Ellis. So this will make it 3rd down and 7, coming off of a possession where Utah was able to cut the lead down to 7 as we're coming up on the end of the 3rd quarter.
So you're asking yourself, is Baylor treating this like a 2-down situation where they can run the football on 3rd and 7, it's 3rd and long, and give themselves an opportunity to potentially go for it on 4th? I don't think that's what's going to happen, but you never know with Jeff Grimes. He can get a little squirmy sometimes.
4-man rush. Robertson outside the numbers, and that was almost intercepted. He tried to squeeze it into Hal Presley. Theo Johnson read it, jumped the route, and almost picked it off.
Theo Johnson didn't just read it and almost pick it off. He pushed through beautifully inside of that zone coverage to get to his outside flat defender read, what he was in that defense. And like I told you guys before, there's a reason that DBs play DB. It's because most of them can't catch. Theo Johnson really could have turned the game around there for the Utah Utes if he caught that one.
Palmer Williams, end-over-end kick, looking towards the far sideline. And it takes a bit of a Utah bounce. And gets touched at about the 21-yard line of the Utes. Well, tonight, Steve Sarkisian will head back to Tuscaloosa. And he will bring Texas along against Nick Saban and Alabama. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN and the app. While Pat McAfee and his crew will highlight our ESPN2 telecast. And we got 2 programs heading in different directions since we go back to the 2010 BCS title game.
There must be somebody in the graphics department that just hates Texas. To put this one up against Alabama is going to make almost any team look extremely bad. But that's what they're faced with. Going to the SEC, this will be a big test for them. Quinn Ewers, let's see if his potential can come to fruition. Jalen Milroe, man, he is exciting with the ball in his hands.
Quindon Jackson back in at tailback. And they go right back to him. And he does not find much running room. Couple of yards off the left side.
Yeah, and we talked about Barnes and just as struggling a little bit with the way that Baylor is playing their coverage. They're dropping really deep and then rallying to him in every situation, making sure they keep their eyes on him, but also keeping their eyes in their zone. So a lot of these plays that we're seeing, knockdowns, sacks, they're coverage sacks. Baylor is saying, we don't think that you can pick us apart, matriculating the ball down the field like that, and they're challenging Bryson Barnes to do it.
And they keep it on the ground with Jackson. As you can see, throws a 70-yard bomb to Money Parks on the first play for Utah against Florida. He's only thrown for 132 yards total since.
Right.
That's basically the entire rest of that game. 3/4 of this game, 132 total yards passing. There's a reason that Kyle Whittingham is leaning on the run game in the absence, of course, of Cam Rising.
Yes, he is. And the offensive coordinator, Andy Ludwig, he honestly was very open with us and said, I'm still trying to figure out what these guys do well. You know, having Cam Rising kind of spoils them. They have the whole offense available to them. But with Bryson Barnes and Nate Johnson, they're still trying to figure out, what do I do to get this guy in rhythm?
Blitz on 3rd down, and there, rising up is Barnes. Finds Micah Pittman. That's a big confidence-boosting completion, you'd have to think, as they brought Matt Jones on a blitz, and he hit Barnes hard.
And the thing I love about it is, Barnes, who has not had a great day throwing the football, stood in there like a champ, took that hit, and knew that he was going to complete this ball. And I can tell you right now, guys, that hit would hurt so much more if it wasn't a completion. But when you complete a ball like that, it could be something so simple as that gets you going, get your bell rung a little bit, but you complete it on the defense on a big 3rd down conversion.
Nate Johnson now in, quarterback run. And he gets planted as well. There's Matt Jones again. A gain of 1.
Man, these boys is out here laying them flat on each other.
That might take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. It looks like it will. So we have a 1-touchdown game as we head to the 4th quarter. But this has been a physical game on both sides of the line of scrimmage from the start.
Yes, it has been a physical game. Some of these guys think they're in the WWE, but boy, did he roll that man like some dice on that hit.
7-point game here at Baylor. Start of the 4th quarter. Utah, 2nd down and 9. There's a slant, wide open. Soft spot found. Money Parks with a money catch and a 1st down across the 50.
And when your quarterback is struggling a little bit, throwing the wide open guys helps. Okay, Baylor's been expecting the run because that's what Utah's been doing early and down. Right here, they open up the playbook for Bryson Barnes, allow him to get a nice, easy completion to Money Parks. You know, 6 different receivers have caught passes for this Utah offense, and now Money Parks and Vele both have 2 apiece. But they need to get those guys rolling.
They hand it to Charlie Vincent. Over 100 degrees here at McLean Stadium. An endurance test, not only in the fourth quarter for the players. How hot is it? This is while we were away.
Oh, my.
It's that hot. The student section getting hosed down.
Hey, when it's about 134 degrees out there on the field, a quick squirt of water will actually reset you a little bit. So these fans, they're dedicated. We're thankful for them to be here because they're adding energy to the stadium and this broadcast.
2nd and 6. Play action. Barnes, well protected to the sideline. Up over the top of Baylor's head. And incomplete, down to Chris.
Boys, it's so hot down here that shoes are literally melting. Athletic director Matt Rose for Baylor was down here in the first half. He showed me his shoes. They were dress shoes. Had literally melted the soles off and were coming apart at the seams.
Oh, wow. Well, I guess we could probably fry an egg on the ground then if it's melting shoes. Lord have mercy. The devil is at work today, isn't he?
And we'll see if Baylor brings heat on 3rd down and 6. Nate Johnson and his quarterback. The handoff to Jackson. That puts him over 100 yards, and he's got the first down. They run for it on 3rd.
You know, we've been talking about Bryson Barnes and Nate Johnson a lot, the 2 quarterbacks, but it's really they got 3 quarterbacks out there on the football field because Jaquindon Jackson used to be a quarterback himself, and he's really the one that's been carrying this offense the entire day. 14 rushes, 107 yards. That whopping 7.6 yards a carry screams to me, give him the ball more.
Bootleg for Barnes. Shakes off a sack. Dodges another tackler. Hit from behind and goes down right at the line of scrimmage. Eventually, Kyler Jordan recovered and tracked him down. He missed it first, but didn't give up on the play. No gain.
Bryson Barnes been tired of everybody saying he ain't got no mobility. Look at him. Nice little stiff arm. Stop and pop, getting out the way. But that's a whole lot of work, guys, to not really get any yardage. Nice job rallying to the ball by the Baylor defense. Relentlessly pursuing it. That's what you have to have, especially in a tight game like this.
Bryson Barnes in the shotgun alongside Nate Johnson. So both quarterbacks in the backfield. He looks Johnson's way. Out of the pocket. Throws one across his body. Incomplete to Sugataraga. Barnes had enough room to scramble there and maybe pick up almost as many yards as Sugataraga was going to get. And he held on to that football and instead opted for the throw.
You know, Sugataraga is actually a former defensive lineman that transitioned over to tight end. And after that hit, he's probably like, why can't I hit guys again?
You using that theory of DBs or DBs for a reason? Is that a...
No, I'm not saying that about him because he had a catch earlier in the game.
There you go.
But hey, you know, maybe he's seeing double a little bit after that hit with this heat out there.
3rd down and 10. And what might be 4-down territory for the Utes. We'll see. Baylor shows blitz. They rush 4. Long throw to the sideline. And that's knocked away by Mikey Matthews. He turned into a defender, got the left hand out, and made sure that DJ Coleman couldn't pick it off. And now it's 4th and 10.
You got a lot of young players out here making plays. Mikey Matthews just couldn't get his feet underneath him to try to make a vertical jump to make that catch. And DJ Coleman, like I told you guys, these DBs turned into the wideout. He scared Mikey Matthews so much because his eyes were on the ball and he was going to make a play on it that he turned the wideout into a DB on that play.
Play clock down to 8, and Utah's not out of the huddle. They may need a timeout. Let's see if they call it. Play clock at 3.
Certainly not the tempo that they wanted, Doug.
And there is the timeout finally called. Kyle Whittingham stops the clock from the sideline. 4th and 10. Will they still go for it? We'll find out when we come back.
Only at Zales, the Diamond Store.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Zales. Bob Wischusen, Robert Griffin III, Chris Budden. 3 minutes gone by in the 4th quarter. Baylor has a touchdown lead, 4th and 10. At the 35-yard line of the Bears for the Utes, and RG3, they're still going for it after the timeout.
Yeah, they are going for it, and if you're an analytics nerd out there like myself, this is not the time to go for it. But look for them to try to draw Baylor off sides. Take a shot down the field.
Barnes to throw over the middle. Incomplete. Looking for Thomas Yasmin. So the Utes turn it over on downs. 12:01 to go in regulation time.
Just a miscommunication between Bryson Barnes and Yasmin, the tight end, as he's trying to work back away from the safety there in the middle of the field. Bryson thinks he's going to stay put, so he throws it right in that window. Had Yasmin stayed in that window, probably would have been a contested catch, but that's why you got the big body. Obviously, you don't want them to be on different pages at this point in the game on such a big play. Now, for Kyle Whittingham, you have to think part of the calculus on going for it on 4th and 10 was faith in his defense against the Baylor offense that only has 13 on the board. Counter toss, Reese. And there's a 1-yard gain on first down, right? Like, you're betting that an offense that's got their backup quarterback in Sawyer Robertson that hasn't put up big numbers, at least on the scoreboard yet today. All right, we didn't get it, but we can go get a stop here. Yeah, and I think they also feel like Sawyer Robertson isn't seeing it that well right now. Threw a pick, almost threw another pick. Their defense is swarming the football right now. It gives them the confidence to say, okay, we can do this because our guys are playing at a high level here in the second half.
On the ground again with Reese. 4 yards to the 40. Lander Barton, another tackle. He has been a tackling machine, kind of from the first family of Utah sports. His father played football and baseball. His mom's in the Utah Crimson Club Hall of Fame as a basketball player. His sister was an All-American volleyball player. They're all over the place with that family in Utah sports.
That's a very athletic family, and he is the Pac-12 Defensive Freshman of the Year last year. So
right.
He
holding his own.
He is holding his own.
Big play here, 3rd down and 5. Richardson going nowhere. Lander Barton got there first again.
This Utah defense is now doing what the Baylor defense was doing in the first half. Playing behind the line of scrimmage as you see him shoot that gap and make sure he gets Dominic Richardson on the ground. You know, Bob, you talked about why they went for it on that 4th down. That's the definition of an HBO moment. Help a brother out. Hey, defense, we know that you're going to help a brother out, and they just did it. You're getting the ball back.
And the Utah defense goes out and makes that decision stand up to a certain extent. Pittman, fair catch, all the way back to the 12-yard line. For Palmer Williams, the freshman, that is a good punt. 48 yards, no return. But the Utes defense gets a big stop. It's Texas earlier today on College Game Day to beat Alabama. We'll see. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN and the app. Pat McAfee and his crew on ESPN2 as we take a look at this week's college football rankings brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Georgia has obviously pulled away, as you would expect. Ohio State doing the same. Penn State also. Notre Dame in a tussle with NC State just on the outside looking in. Utah, they are 12th in the current AP poll, and they find themselves with 10 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, down on the road to a Baylor team that lost last week to Texas State. Nate Johnson back at quarterback. Hand off to Quindon Jackson. A spin move and maybe a yard. And boy, Robert, this is obviously your old stomping grounds. Dave Aranda, not only losing to Texas State last week on opening day, but for a team last year that went 6-7 after they were picked to win the Big 12. If you can hold on and get a win like this, that might really quiet things down for the Baylor faithful.
It won't just quiet it down. You got to realize Texas State was a 26-point underdog, and Baylor lost their last 4 games of the year last season after winning the Big 12 in 2021.
Johnson tries to get the edge, and he's close to the first down. Yeah, the natives restless here in Waco. There's no question.
So the noise has been deafening all week about Coach Aranda and his style of coaching. And does he need to be more this or more of that? And when I talked to him this week, we talked to him, he said, you know, just because it's different doesn't mean it doesn't work. And I for one, also know in my college experience, there's a time when we got our butt kicked by TCU, And there were fans calling for me to get benched in 2010, the year before we won the Heisman. So if you just give guys time sometimes, you can see the results are in the pudding.
Big third down here. Nate Johnson stays in the game. Quarterback power on 3rd down and 2. Very close. He dove for it and gets it without measurement. The officials say move the chains.
And here's the thing for Utah. This game, as you see here, they get the first down. Nate Johnson just getting in there, getting dirty with it. This game could set them back in their path to try to get to the college football playoff. So they're not trying to make that happen. But if this Baylor team had showed up against Texas State, I don't think you would have heard anything about Dave Aranda. And talking to them this week, he understood that he had to find a way to flip the switch and unleash his guys and their attitude on the field. And I think they have accomplished that with this showing so far against the Utes.
A rollout for Johnson. Cuts it back and goes down. Sacked back to the 15-yard line. Trey Wilson, the freshman, eventually got him down. Bryson Jackson in pursuit as well.
Nate Johnson out of the pocket is a dangerous man. But when you have hats flying to the football and you got a freshman like Trey Wilson willing to put it all on the line, running from sideline to sideline, chasing these quarterbacks, those are the types of big plays that can happen. Oh, my Lord. Look at the defense from last week compared to this week. They gave up 42 points and over 440 yards. And right now, they're pitching one of the best games they've had in quite some time.
Johnson rips a pass over the middle to Mikey Matthews. And on 2nd and 15 following the sack, Johnson responds. And it's a first down out to the 34, a gain of 17.
And just as we're talking good about the Baylor defense, oh, Mikey Matthews, that man got a doctorate in route running right there. He shook that man out his shoes to get open. I love it when quarterbacks have an opportunity to throw the ball to open guys, and they deliver a strike and let them run after the catch. Nice job by Nate Johnson there.
Interesting as well, Bryson Barnes on that last possession. You talked about it. Went over, and you could see Whittingham not happy with his quarterback. This might be Nate Johnson's game the rest of the way. Right up the middle, Glover spins close to a first down. He's got 9. Let's check in with Matt Barry.
Gentlemen, Deion Sanders is going to have a receipt as long as CBS after this one. It is all Buffaloes. 29-7 now, 4th quarter.
Boy, the post-game press conferences are sure to become more and more interesting.
Yes, they
as the year goes on.
Coach Prime out there proving all the doubters wrong. You love to see it.
Breaking tackles. Jaylon Glover has the first down, but a flag thrown behind the play. Back at the line of scrimmage. And this is coming back.
All right, let us know what the call is.
Holding. Offense number 78, 10-yard penalty. Replay the down. They set the game clock to 5:52.
So you're going to see this holding penalty right here by Lamaya on TJ Franklin. As soon as you feel that running back get past you as an offensive lineman, you have to let go. Otherwise, they will call you for that holding penalty every single time.
Making moves and getting out across the 42-yard line is Johnson. About 2 yards shy of a first down. DJ Coleman, another stop. And also running this style of offense, running the ball a lot, huddling up and taking the play clock down as often as they do. You count possessions, they might need the ball twice. The way the clock is winding down, Utah, this might be the last time they touch it if they don't show maybe more of a sense of urgency.
Exactly, especially with the way that both of these teams play. You mentioned that this might be Nate Johnson's game for the rest of the way. And I think if it is, it's because he provides that spark. And when the play is not there, he's a more dynamic runner. Baylor's been great in coverage all day.
Again, it's Glover. He's got the first down. And he is out close to midfield, but watch the clock continue to wind down inside of 5 minutes to go.
You're 100% right about the fact that they might need more possessions, but for Utah, they have to do what's working. And right now, throwing the football has not been their friend. Running the ball has. So even if they have to run the clock all the way down inside of a minute, as long as they score and they tie the game, that's all they care about right now.
They could potentially get it back again using their timeouts. Play action here. Johnson rolls. Finds a crosser. Monty Parks. There's a first down to the Baylor 38-yard line. Devin Bobby made the stop at a gain of 13.
Monty Parks. You're going to watch this fake by Nate Johnson. Does a nice job, but the most impressive thing is in his face, he's got TJ Franklin right there, and he throws a money ball to Monty Parks.
And now that sense of urgency may be building for Utah. Back up at the line, snapping the ball with 15 on the play clock. There's the slant, reaching out to make the catch is Mikey Matthews. The freshman gets walloped, but he's down to the 20-yard line. And here they go, playing with tempo.
And now
picking up the pace.
And now they're seeing, hey, they're giving us free access to these slot receivers. We just got to throw the ball to them right away. Nice slant. Nate Johnson is cooking right now.
What seemed like an all-run offense. And now Johnson throws it again. Climbing the ladder, making another catch is Matthews. Just shy of the first down.
For all the Nate Johnson critics out there who said they don't know if this guy can make it throwing the football, he is showing you on this drive when it matters most that you should trust him just a little bit more.
2nd and inches. Glover has a first down. So it is now first down, goal to go at the 7-yard line with 2:45 remaining.
We talked about how they were methodically moving the ball down the field, running the ball, and it was just, you keep running it until you get these openings in the passing game that you can get these chunk yardage. Every offensive coordinator out there that's listening knows that you have to stay true to your game plan no matter what's going on in the game when you have the opportunity to down only one score. So I give Andy Ludwig a tip of the hat because he understood what he was trying to accomplish, and now they're doing it.
13th play of the drive. Play clock at 5. Johnson to throw. Intended for Jackson, high and wide. That stops the clock with 2:07 remaining.
I can promise you the Baylor Bears saw that one on tape because they had about 4 guys over there guarding Jaquinda Jackson. And Nate Johnson on that throw missed a wide open spot route in the middle of the field because everybody flowed with the running back.
That was Nate Johnson's first incompletion. 6 of 7 for 82 yards, most of it on this drive. 4 of 5 on this drive alone. 2nd down and goal. The give for Jackson. Not much there. Matt Jones takes him down after a gain of a half yard at best. And now Dave Aranda will call timeout. And we will step aside as well. For the third, Chris Button. All right, RG3. Your play call here, now that it seems like the game is in Nate Johnson's hands.
Yeah, you're on the left hash. I'm doing some type of boot keeper action to the field. Give Nate Johnson an opportunity to have a run pass option. He's dynamic with his feet. You don't want to handicap him right here. Let him use his full gambit of skills on 3rd and goal.
Quarterback run right up the middle. He's at the goal line and in for the touchdown. Nate Johnson caps the drive. And the Utes a point after away from a tie. Now Dave Aranda called a timeout smartly before 3rd down to preserve some time himself.
Yes, he did. And instead of giving him a run pass option to the field, they ran that man right down the middle. Oh, he's a runner. He's a track star. You love to see it right there. Great play call. Good job not taking my advice.
A must-have for Becker. And he's got it. And we are tied with 1:59 to go. A 15-play, 88-yard touchdown drive. It took over 8 minutes, but it ends up in the end zone.
Well, let's take a look at that last drive by the Utah Utes, and it featured Nate Johnson doing some things that you know he could and some that people didn't think he could. Standing in the pocket, delivering strikes, handing the ball off to his man, Jaylon Glover, and then on this pass right here, on the money to Money Parks running away, and then, of course, topping it off with a touchdown right down the middle. If you're a Utah fan, that drive was beautiful.
Well, again, Dave Aranda called a timeout in the goal-to-go situation to preserve time for perhaps this very scenario. Because now, still has 2 timeouts to use, 1:59 on the clock, plenty of time to get in position for a potential game-winning field goal. Bringing it out is Gordon from 3 yards deep. And gets right basically out to where he would have been had he taken a knee. Well, UFC 293 is tonight from Sydney, Australia. Another stacked card highlighted by the main event. Israel Adesanya will defend his middleweight belt against Sean Strickland. The main card begins at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on pay-per-view. The prelims at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN News, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus. To order the main card in English and Spanish, go to ESPNplus.com/PPV. Sawyer Robertson with a chance to run the 2-minute offense, get into field goal range, and pull off an upset. False start.
Man, oh man. We've seen it all day, Bob. Shooting yourself in the foot.
False start. Offense, number 58. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
They hadn't had one since early in the second quarter, but they began the game with 3. That's their 4th false start after 6 last week. And now you're behind the chains, 1st and 15.
Honestly, it's what happens when you have a bunch of new offensive linemen in there playing for only the 2nd game, and you've shifted them around, and you got a new starting quarterback. But think of it, it's the biggest moment of the game, and you're shooting yourself in the foot. That is not what you want.
Dominic Richardson brought down behind the line.
Now, this is a huge growth moment for Sawyer Robertson here.
So as Tanavasa gets the tackle for loss quickly, time potentially preserved for Utah to maybe win the game in regulation by Kyle Whittingham. So now the chess match back and forth with the use of timeouts, playing these down and distance situations.
It is, and Baylor has to be smart. It's 2nd and 16. I would anticipate they go high percentage pass play with the screen or another run, because you've got a young quarterback in Sawyer Robertson in there. Let's see what they do here. Do they trust him to drop back and throw? In this big of a moment, Utah taking that timeout is almost a slap in the face. They're saying, hey, we don't think you can get this first down.
If they don't trust him to drop back and throw, or are you just playing to survive and not to win?
Exactly.
Now there's the drop back. There's the throw. One-on-one down the sideline. Incomplete. He took a shot and missed Presley. And now 1:44 on the clock. It remains stopped.
Hal Presley had a breakout game last week with 2 big catches down the field, and here Sawyer Robertson had him just leave it in bounds. Taking a shot like that shows that they do trust him to make those types of plays, but now because it's an incompletion and you threw it out of bounds, it's 3rd and 16. Utah's licking their chops thinking they're going to get the ball back and have a chance to win.
Some pressure. High throw over the middle. It's intercepted. Picked off by Cole Bishop. With 1:35 to go, Robertson makes a huge mistake. And right where they're at now, the Utes in potential field goal range for a possible game winner.
We said at the beginning of the broadcast, remember the name because he's got game. Cole Bishop. Right there in the middle of your your screen, number 8. He's just watching the quarterback's eyes, and he sees when he makes that throw, he'll never see me coming from the blind side. Utah Utes are now set up with an opportunity to win the game, even with the field goal from where they're at already.
The hit from Lander Barton had a lot to do with that throw, launched by Robertson right to Cole Bishop. Cole Bishop came to Utah and Salt Lake City sight unseen during COVID. They could be happy to go home tonight if that results in what turns out to be maybe the play that sets up a game-winning opportunity.
You know, as a quarterback, sometimes you can't live by faith and not by sight. Right there, Sawyer Robinson never saw Cole Bishop.
Getting lost in the traffic is Jaylon Glover. Matt Jones made the stop. And now Baylor tries to preserve time. They only have one timeout left.
My, oh my, what a day Cole Bishop has had. Number 8, he's the voice of their defense, but he's been everywhere. Oh, look at that. Lining up on the line of scrimmage, making tackles in the running game. Then we got a little speed option. No, sir. You're not going to block me. I'm unblockable. Then right here, they run him out again on a little jet sweep. Who's there to make the play? Cole Bishop ushering in all types of defense all day. And then here, Sawyer Robertson never sees him coming from the backside. And Cole Bishop has been an animal for the entirety of this game. Man, get that guy a helmet sticker or something.
He's two-time honorable mention All Pac-12, but this year he was preseason first team All Pac-12. So those that have watched Cole Bishop and have a hand in the voting, at least preseason, know how integral he is going to be to Utah's hopes all season.
How about the Bishop being the one that makes the play that could put the Baptist under today?
Second down and 3, one timeout remaining for each squad. Jaylon Glover brought down at the line of scrimmage. Dave Aranda uses Baylor's final timeout with 1:26 to go. So it really comes down to this for Baylor. If you get a stop on third down here, even if Utah makes a field goal, you start to do the math, you could have, even after a kickoff, in the neighborhood of 40 seconds or so to maybe get into field goal range yourself to force overtime.
Yes, you can.
Having said that, Baylor gives up a first down here. Utah can take the clock all the way down and make sure that their field goal opportunity is the last play of the game.
And this moment is also huge for Kyle Whittingham, head coach at Utah, and their offensive coordinator, Andy Ludwig. How aggressive are you going to be? We asked them what their team motto was. They said, you're either all in or you're in the way. You know, tough guys don't last at Utah. So how tough are they going to be in this moment, in the trenches, trying to run the football, or do they open it up and try to ice the game?
Well, their defense has been a huge story here in the fourth quarter for Utah, holding Baylor to 4 yards of total offense, allowing this comeback.
They've been sensational. That defense has been sensational, and now it's about what does Utah do in a situation where everybody thinks they're going to run the ball. Is that what they do?
They hand it to Jackson. He's in the open. He finds nothing but pay dirt, but a flag out. There was a reason he was in the open, and there was a reason he found a free way to pay dirt, as it looks like holding will be the call.
Holding. Offense, number 52. 10-yard penalty, replay third down.
And that also could play a major factor in how long the ultimate field goal opportunity is for Utah.
If any,
see what happens on this next play.
If anything, what you didn't want to happen was a holding call on your offensive line. This is him right here, working down the field, and he didn't need to do it. He could have just let go. The defender was not going to make a play there. Once again, what in the Mokafisi is going on?
So with it being a spot foul, It's only 3rd down and about 4. Now the official stop play.
Come on, Zebras!
Oh. Well, they want to make sure they've got the ball spotted correctly, and that's very important.
Yeah, it's going to impact how long a potential field goal could be, how long this down and distance is.
It makes it 3rd down and 4 as things stand right now, which, as we said, if they pick up the 1st down, they could take the clock all the way down and possibly end the game. Utah can. Or if this is further up the field, it could influence the likelihood of making a field goal. It looked like the foul occurred at about the 15, maybe the 16-yard line.
Yeah,
Let's take a look at where the flag is thrown. There's the hold. At the 15-yard line?
15, 14-yard line there. That's what it looks like. And like I said, as you're climbing to that 2nd level, as soon as you see him try to disengage and go, you have to let him go. Or you got to drive your feet so strong and so fast that you pancake him into the ground.
Well, you know, though, you live this life. Even if they move the ball back 2 yards.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see.
The penalty will place the ball at the 25-yard line, 3rd down, Utah.
And that's exactly what they did. They moved it 2 yards. Now, maybe those 2 yards don't seem that huge, but 3rd down and 4 as opposed to 3rd down and 6?
Yeah.
That makes a difference.
Honestly, you could say that it kind of pushes you into a longer 3rd down situation, which could change the defensive call and the tendencies. As an offensive play caller, you're saying, all right, well, 3rd and 2 to 4. Now we're into the 3rd and 5 to 7 range. What is this guy running? What's he going to do? It changes everything. Football is a game of inches, and right now they just moved it back a couple yards.
So 3rd down and 6 now after the hold. And if you're a Utah fan, the shame of it is that Jaquindon Jackson had the 1st down even before Milkafisi committed the penalty.
Exactly.
He's the lone setback again on 3rd down and 6 now. And they'll stay with him. He's up the middle. Breaks free. He's got the 1st down. Well, this time he ends up well short of the end zone, but that might still get the job done for Utah. Down to the 13-yard line, and they can take the clock down as far as they please as Baylor is out of timeouts.
And, you know, a lot of the attention will go to Jaquindon Jackson here. But the offensive line is the ones that deserve the credit for opening up that huge hole for him to get that 1st down.
They'll run it with Jackson down to the 11-yard line. Again, Baylor without any timeouts, and Utah still has the 1 timeout remaining. So they can take the clock down, basically, and use that last timeout to make sure the field goal is the final play of the game.
Now you're sitting there, Kyle Whittingham, and you're saying, where can I line my kicker up to where he is most comfortable to make this the easiest kick of all time?
He must like the right hash. Standing on his feet, though, is Glover. He's killing time and gets in the end zone. They tried to let him score, it looks like. And he obliged.
It certainly looked like they were trying to let him score.
They went freeway, it appears, to try and allow Glover to score, and it looked like he was making the smart play by staying out of the end zone, but eventually fell in the end zone.
Yeah, you saw all the Baylor Bears stop playing, just trying to go and strip for the football and let him get in the end zone so they get a chance to get the ball back. Very heads-up play by Glover, making sure he didn't go in too soon.
Of course, if he takes a knee at the 1-yard line, the kick that just went through for the extra point would have been the last play of the game.
Yep.
And instead now there is 17 seconds still on the clock, courtesy of Jaylon Glover scoring the touchdown that gives Baylor.
So here you go. We got the conversion. You know, Jaquindon Jackson said, hold up, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished. It doesn't matter if you call it back. I'm still going to get the 1st down. And then here is the touchdown by Glover. You see all the Baylor Bears, they've been coached, hey, let him score. He said,
Listen, man, we got an education too. We know how to play situational football. But there is a sliver of hope for the Baylor Bears and Baylor Nation out there, because you got 17 seconds on the clock, but you're going to have to drive the field and score a touchdown.
I wonder, from an analytics standpoint, the percentages of letting a player score there to now go down by 7, or just in college football, as many crazy things as can happen on special teams, just taking your chances even on a medium-range field goal that a college kicker might miss with the game on the line.
Correct.
Who knows? They opted to try and let him score. Glover eventually fell in the end zone, and now the squib kick is down to about the 10-yard line. So a chance on the return for Gordon, and he doesn't get much. So now 13 seconds to go, no timeouts left for Baylor, and they have to have a touchdown.
You talk about this, 13 seconds left in the game. You're going to need big chunk yardage plays. These are the calls that you work on every single day at the end of practice, so that everybody knows, listen, we don't have much time, but we're going to have to push the ball down the field. And as you see there, they have not done a very good job late in this game with Sawyer Robertson being in rhythm.
Can they at least get the ball out maybe to midfield and get out of bounds or stop the clock and get within range of a Hail Mary? That's what they're going to try and do as they get about 5 on the quick screen out to Hal Presley, down to 9 seconds to go. Sometimes this is just the math of how strong is my quarterback's arm and where do I have to get him to where he can reach the end zone.
Exactly, and you saw those numbers on the screen for Sawyer Robertson. It's whatever Utah has done with their aggression in the tight coverage has made the passing game completely go away.
The clock goes to all zeros as Presley goes out of bounds. Baylor thinks there should still be a second on the clock.
And I'm going to be honest with you, Bob, I think they're right. There should be probably 1 second left on the clock. Who saw that one coming? You'll see. Sawyer Robertson here. The clock is down here for your viewing pleasure. He moves out, drops this dime into Hal Presley, and it looks like put down. 1 second left on the clock still.
Hard to believe Utah would allow a player anywhere in their coverage to get behind them. That's the only thing you can't allow there. They did to Presley, and it looks like his foot stepped out of bounds with 1 second left on the clock. We were thinking just get the ball hopefully to midfield and have the arm strength for a Hail Mary. Well, now Sawyer Robertson might have a chance to throw one in the end zone from the 22-yard line.
Oh, he certainly has to throw one in the end zone now. And what did I tell you earlier in the game? Quarterbacks at home, give your receiver an opportunity down the field. Number one, Miles Battle was fighting the ball in the air right there because he couldn't track the trajectory of the football. Like I said before, that's why DBs play DB and wideouts play wideout.
This changes what would be a Hail Mary type of scenario.
Yes.
Right? Like, what type of a play are you running? Not a Big Ben throw it in the end zone tip drill, which is what you'd be doing from the 50-yard line.
Correct.
Now you can run more of a traditional route tree and try and pick up 20 yards and get in the end zone. What do you like here?
2 things I would do if I was the play caller. First of all, I would line up with 5 wide and go 5 verticals. Right? Spread out the defense, give my strong arm quarterback an opportunity to hit one of the seams.
The runner stepped out of bounds with 1 second on the clock.
So there it is.
First down, Baylor.
So you like 5 verticals here as your best chance.
Let's go 3 by 2, 5 verticals, give him an opportunity to hit a guy down the seam. Or if you're really going to try to, if Utah's going to play man coverage, which I do not think they will, go in a 4 by 1 formation and run 4 guys across the field and have 1 guy go the other direction. There's a chance the defense could lose that guy. But when they're playing this catch technique, as you'll see them at the goal line, they're trying to bat down everything that comes into their area. So they're going to allow those free runners to go.
Barring a penalty, 1 snap. Here comes an all-out blitz. It's hoisted towards the end zone, 1-on-1. Intended for Jackson. No flag out. That'll do it. Miles Battle was there. And
is what I'll say, Bob. It looked like Miles' battle. He lost the battle. But in the end, on the very next play, he won the war, making sure the receiver did not have an opportunity to make this catch. So they bring this pressure, making Sawyer Robertson throw the ball through than he wants to, but he gets great air on the ball. And listen, they did not call pass interference, so it's not pass interference. The ball through than he wants to, but he gets great air on the ball. And listen, they did not call pass interference, so it's not pass interference. But Miles' battle was fighting with the receiver there, Ketron Jackson, at the end, and the ref decided we're not going to make it about us and we're going to stay out of it.
And in the end, at least to the Baylor fans, they made it about them.
Yep.
Because this whole stadium believes that pass interference should have been called, and there was a lot of contact there for Ketron Jackson to not earn that flag. But Miles' battle gets the benefit of the doubt, and without their quarterback on the road in a tough environment in the heat, Utah is able to survive. They get the late comeback, and they take down Baylor 20-13.
And you see that play by Jaylon Glover scoring the touchdown really is why coaches tell their players, get down, allow us to kick the field goal, don't score the touchdown, because you're putting your team in a situation where at the end of the game, you're giving your opponent a chance to win.
Let's head down to Chris Button.
Coach, you guys trailed for about all but 3 minutes of this game in the 100-degree heat. How'd you pull it out today?
Yeah, we found a way. Didn't play particularly well. Give Baylor credit. They played outstanding. We couldn't get much going offensively until that last part of the game, but Nate Johnson came in, gave us a spark, and that was the difference. That was the real difference in the game. Defense played well enough to win the entire game, but it took Nate and that offensive drive at the end there to get the victory.
You make the change at quarterback. What kind of confidence does it say that you have in Nate to be able to pull that out in the last 2 possessions?
Yeah, a lot of confidence. He's just a freshman, but he's got a lot of upside, and he's a talented young man.
Good deal. Get out of this heat. Appreciate it.
Oh, I love it. It's cold.
It must have felt as if the temperature went down about 25 degrees to Kyle Whittingham as soon as that last pass fell incomplete. And Utah, without Cam Rising, again finds a way with the dual quarterback system of Bryson Barnes and Nate Johnson